Hi everyone, Miss Cross here. Welcome to another The World About Me Wednesday. Today we are going to be exploring light and learn what is a shadow and how it is made through the use of shadow puppets. Tomorrow is the 23rd of April, which is a special day where we remember the patron saint of England, St George. Before we get started, I thought I would share a few simple and easy facts about St George's Day that you can share with your child at home. St George is the patron saint of England. According to legend, he was a knight who killed a dragon and saved a princess. He is remembered and celebrated every year on the 23rd of April. We thought combining St George's Day and shadow puppets together would be a nice activity to be shared at home. Today's activity has been broken down into two parts so that you can adapt and modify the activities you desire. In part 1, I will show you a way you can make your puppets, and in part 2, we will investigate and explore light and shadows. To make a shadow, you need an object that does not let any light through. Did you know a fancy word for this is opaque? Opaque means that we cannot see through it. Shadows can be made with objects and materials that let some light through, but these are not as dark and not as clear to see. So today, we are going to make our shadow puppets from an opaque material, card. You will also need tape, some sticks, I chose to use lolly sticks, a pencil, a marker, some scissors, preferably child friendly, and a lamp or alternative source of light. It would be a nice opportunity to collect these resources with your child, or if your child is on the adventurers or voyagers pathway, you could give them a list using words or pictures of items you need to find. If your child is on the explorers pathway, maybe you could ask them to point to an item on the table. For example, can you point to the pencil? Time for part 1, let's make some puppets. Step 1 is to put your card flat. I used an empty cereal box. You could use this opportunity to propose a problem for your child. Can you help me make it flat? Observe your child and encourage them to have a go without telling them what to do. The aim is to support their ability to solve problems with increasing independence using the tools that are available. Now it is time to make your puppets. I used my iPad to find pictures to use as a model to copy while drawing out my characters. You may wish to print out pictures to stick on. In this scenario, you may ask your child to use the computer to search for the characters you need to tell your story. In the story of St George, we need a dragon, a king, a princess, a village, and of course George himself. If you are drawing your puppets like me, you need to draw them big so that we can have a good size item to block the light and create the shadows. You might wish to give your child an instruction during this stage. For example, make George the same size as 5 Duplo bricks. You might want to use the Duplo bricks as a visual to support your child. Alternatively, you may discuss the different body parts or the different accessories you need to create the different characters, as we want them all to look different during the show. For example, when drawing St George, you may name his shield, his sword, and his helmet. For the princess, you might use the words dress, long hair, and tiara, or for the dragon, you might say head, wings, and tail. Once you have finished drawing your puppets, it is time to cut them out. During step 2, I outlined all my characters with a marker to give me a clear line to follow when cutting. You may need to help your child with the cutting, or they may be able to do this with supervision. You could use this time to talk about how we use scissors safely. For example, we use scissors carefully and we cut away from our bodies. You could also use this time to talk about the story of St George and name all the different characters. For example, the dragon was mean. Can you point to your dragon? Don't forget to tidy away all the cuttings after you have finished. get your child to help, or even to do this on their own. This will promote their self-help and independence skills. Our last step is to stick the lolly sticks on the back of the puppets. Why not see if your child can locate the lolly sticks, the sellotape, and even the scissors before starting? Once your puppets are complete, you are ready for part 2. Explore and investigate making shadows. This is where you will need a form of light to create your shadow. I chose a decorating lamp, however alternatives such as a torch or a bedroom lamp with no light shade will work the same. You will need a blank, flat surface. I used the wall in my living room. And you will need to make the room as dark as possible. I closed all my curtains and turned all lights off. Now it is time to let your child explore making shadows by putting the puppets in front of your light. Before starting, encourage the skills of prediction by asking your child what they think will happen when the puppet is placed in front of the light. What size, shape or colour do they predict will be made? After the prediction, it is time to investigate and explore the activity. Let your child freely explore the puppets and discuss how the light outlines the puppet and all the different shapes that are visible. If your child is an explorer, observe how they interact and engage with the activity. Use different words to support their understanding of the concept of light and shadows. If your child is an adventurer, ask them to explain what they can see. What key words and vocabulary can they use? What happens when they move the puppet closer to the light or move the puppet further away from the light? If your child is a voyager, you could ask them questions to answer. For example, how can you make the shadow bigger? Maybe you could see if they can even tell you why. Did you know light travels in straight lines and it cannot bend around an object? It is when it gets blocked by an object, such as a tree, that a shadow is made. The closer the object to the light source, the bigger the shadow, as more light has been blocked. You can even explore making your very own puppet show. This is also known as shadow play, and it is an ancient form of storytelling. Maybe you could tell a story for a member of your family. This activity can be furthered at home in many ways. You can make puppets of different sizes and shapes, and investigate and compare how their differences change the effects of the shadow. You could make puppets for your favourite story, for example the Gruffalo or Fantastic Mr. Fox. Why not use the internet with adult supervision to discover different ways to create shadows, or even research facts about St. George or a patron saint of another country? You can get outside in the sun and draw around the shadow of a family member, some toys or figures. Or maybe you could even use an iPad, tablet or camera to video your very own puppet show to send to a family member or a friend. Maybe you could even tell them how the shadows are made. I hope you've enjoyed today's activities. I would love to see pictures and videos of your interpretations, so please email them to your class teacher. Keep safe everybody and wash those hands. See you next week for more The World About Me activities.